First of all, I want to thank everybody to coming to the dedication of our new Southwest Community Center. We're so excited to have this wonderful space to expand our food operations and of educational and other operations at the new food center. It's been the culmination of a long project of ours looking for a suitable space. And we're so excited to have this opportunity to get this building in this neighborhood and to be able to use that to better serve our community. You know, we're living in a time where our country is very polarized. And that polarization is not healthy for our country and also for getting legislation passed to meet the needs of our communities. And, you know, we really need to find ways to minimize that and to focus on those things that bring us together. And that's what this food center does. It brings our community together because we, as a local community, have the ability, both the resources and the help to help those in need in our community. And there's no greater need, human need, than to be able to feed yourself and your family. And we have a lot of people struggling with that right now. Many of our neighbors are working in lower wage jobs, and they're finding it difficult to get by in these times with the cost of housing, cost of food, the cost of childcare, cost of utilities going up. So we as a community have the ability to help our own, and that's what this center is all about. I want to say that we couldn't have done this project without the help of a number of people that I need to recognize. And Mayor Koch, Speaker Mariano were very generous in their time in meeting with us and helped us to get both local and state resources. We couldn't have done this without both of you. Our entire legislative delegation at the State House supported us in this effort. We couldn't have done it without you. We have private donors, both corporate and individuals, who stepped up to help us. Our board, our staff put a lot of effort into this. Couldn't have done it without them. So this is part of what a shared community is all about. And we're so thankful for that. The other people that are having difficulty is the elderly and the disabled who are on fixed incomes and with the cost of everything going up. And this is a real service to them as well. So the food center is so important to us because a lot of people coming in to take advantage of getting food from us, Melinda and her staff do a tremendous job of working with these people, finding out what their needs are, and getting additional resources to help them in addition to their food needs. And this building affords us the opportunity to have people in our organization who are in other areas be actually in the building to meet with people. So this is really going to be a tremendous resource for our community. I want to recognize Melinda and our staff. We're so fortunate to have Melinda. She's a dedicated employee who is so dedicated to our community. And she has her staff, Dave Morales, Sumner, Lou, Daisy, Ma, and we have volunteers who work also, including police officers Greg Marr and Jim Whitby, who have done an incredible job of our servicing our community in very small cramped quarters down the road. If you went in there and saw the size of that compared to what we have now, you'd be amazed at what they've been able to pull off all these years. So Melinda, I have to single you out because you are just so passionate about what you do, and you do such tremendous work. So I'd like to ask you to come up here just for a second. Melinda Alexander. Please accept these on our behalf.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you. You're doing a great job.
You want to say a few words? Go ahead, quick.
I didn't really, but I will. This is a very, very special day for me. I can't even tell you the joy that I feel to have all of you here to see this beautiful building and the idea that all the wonderful things that we'll be able to do in the future. It's a dream come true. That's all I can say to every one of you today. It's a dream come true. And Paul, having that plaque on the building, I can walk up every day and I'll always think of all the wonderful things you've done, the refrigerator you brought me, just, always supporting me. And your joke about, if I had to change my mind, I had to go outside and come back in. And it's true. That was a very small place. And this is absolutely just a dream come true. And I'm proud. I'm proud. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to welcome up to say a few words, Mayor Tom Koch.
Thank you, Tim. Reverend Bennett, Speaker Mariano, Senator Timilty, Representative Ayers, former Councilor Connolly, Paul, Pat, and the entire Connolly family. It's a pleasure to be with you here today to celebrate this occasion and really what this mission is truly all about. A few weeks back, I was at a Diwali celebration with the folks from our Indian community, and that's about light, the Festival of Lights. Coming up, we'll have the menorah dedication at Town Hall, which is Hanukkah, which is about lights. We'll be celebrating Christmas very soon. And the story of Christmas is light coming into the world to dispel darkness. And so this location brings that light and brings that hope to many people who have challenges. And when I think of the Christmas season, and I think of Paul, I think of the great scripture when the Lord was challenged, what's the greatest commandment? And he said, love your God with all your mind, your heart, and soul. But right next to that is love one another. And what happens in this facility is all about loving one another. And Paul Connolly has been a model for that for years, from the start of serving his nation during the Vietnam War, coming home and serving in the public sector, always looking out for the little guy. His work, obviously, with Quincy Community Action all these years, looking out for the little people. His service on the Affordable Housing Trust, same thing. Paul's a remarkable individual, and that's what makes Quincy so great. It's about the people here. And the Connollys are one of those great families that makes Quincy so special. I also want to give a shout out to Beth Ann and the staff. Beth Ann is terrific to work with, heading up this great organization, all the good work they do. To the board as well, to my rep on the board, Josephine, for all you do for our community. I'm so grateful. So on behalf of a grateful city, thank you. I have to sneak out because I have an addiction roundtable to get to over on Quincy Avenue. Apologize for cutting out. Paul will do lunch over the next couple of weeks before you head south.
Okay.
So congratulations, everybody involved. Thank you so much. God bless.
Our organization is also very fortunate to have Beth Ann Strollo as our CEO. She's smart, hardworking, a tenacious advocate for those in our community who need help, and a consummate leader and professional. I am proud to be associated with her and proud to introduce her. Beth Ann.
Thank you, Tim. And on behalf of our staff here, I also want to welcome everybody to this really fantastic day and celebration. And a special welcome to the Connolly family, Paul, Pat, his wife, his sons, Kevin, David, Brian, and their families who are here with us, It's great to celebrate this building in your honor, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but thank you for all that you've done. This is really a milestone for us today. For some of you who may know our history in this neighborhood, but I'm thinking probably many of you don't. We have been in this neighborhood since 1968. And with this building, we now have been on every corner of Brewer's Corner. So I don't know what that means, but we're here. And we began actually down on Water Street many, many years ago, but we're at 372 Granite Street, which is diagonal, the far corner. In 1986, we bought 388 Granite Street, which is behind us, and opened up a community center there that was a really large building. We renovated that church, and it was a vibrant center where we served people and provided a range of services. The board of directors made a decision in 2006 to turn that building into affordable housing for low-income families, which is what we have today there. 5 families live there with very low incomes. When we made that decision, we had to move, and we moved across the street to a very small building that Tim mentioned earlier. And the minute we moved in, we said, this is way too small. we need to figure this out. And that was many years ago. I would say for the past 10 years at least, the board and I have been thinking about where can we move. And we kept our eye out through this whole neighborhood. Our friends at the city, Jim Fatsis and Sean Glennon, had many conversations with me where I said, do you guys know of anything here? Paul would drive around, to go meet with real estate agents and try to find something. And last 2 summers ago, the summer of 2021, Kristen Schlapp, our chief operating officer, called me and said, there is a for rent sign on this building. And it's history from there. It allowed us to start moving forward, and the goal that we had that we never gave up on of staying in this neighborhood and finding larger space became a reality. The onset of the pandemic made that goal really urgent for us. We realized very quickly how difficult it was to provide services in a very small space. And it made us rethink everything that we did. Like every organization, like every company, we had to completely rethink how we were delivering services. We began delivering meals to COVID-impacted households and other elderly households who were afraid to go to the grocery store, who it could have made them very sick to do that and threaten their life. We then got a refrigerated van with pandemic relief resources that is out in the parking lot that I think everybody has seen, so that we could provide mobile pantry services, take food to where people were at, so that they did not have to come out because people didn't want to come out at the very beginning. All of that was really necessary to respond to the need. And the need continues to be great. We are experiencing a 27% increase in the number of households that we are serving today compared to pre-pandemic, not even during the pandemic. So we're seeing the impact of the high cost of food, the high cost of housing, and now the high cost of heat. And we know that this new building will help us respond to that need more effectively. We never gave up on the goal. Our board of directors, under Tim's leadership, and our entire board never looked back from that goal. It was not easy at times. We didn't think we would ever find a permanent home in this neighborhood where we felt so committed to. But we did, thanks to the generosity of so many people who are here today. And thanks to the recognition by the federal government and the state government that food insecurity is a major issue. The pandemic brought that out. It drew a lot of attention to the issues that low-income people face when they are faced with not enough money to buy food. So we were able to buy and renovate this building with all of that support, but I have to say, without the support of Mayor Tom Koch and Speaker Ron Mariano, we would have never been able to get out of the gate on this. We met with Mayor Koch right after we had seen this building, before we even put an offer down, and we asked if he would support us. He did not hesitate for 1 second on that. And that is the kind of leadership that he brings to the city and the proactive approach that he takes to solving problems. So we're very grateful to him and to the city for all that they have given us to make this project possible. Speaker Mariano has been a staunch supporter of QCAP for years, back to the days of Rosemary Wahlberg and Archie, who really were such a huge part of this organization, and they adored Speaker Mariano and spoke about him fondly all the time. We met with the speaker last spring and told him about this project, and for those of you who work with him know that you cannot pull the wool over his eyes. We had to do a lot of explaining of what we were doing, and that it made sense, and this is why it made sense. And as I've said to him many times, I get very nervous when I'm talking with him because you can't get away with anything. You have to know what you're talking about, but that's what we appreciate in him. But mostly what we appreciate is the dedication that he has to our mission and always has, and to the people that we serve and that they need help. In the FY22 pandemic relief budget, the speaker lent considerable support to this, and in the FY23 budget did as well. There is a line item for community action agencies that allowed us to buy this building and to renovate it. And without the speaker's support, that line item would not be there. We know that. And we are tremendously grateful to him for that and for all that he has done over the years to support the mission of QCAP. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. And I want to thank the members of the state delegation. Tim mentioned them. Representative Bruce Ayers is here, a strong supporter. Senator Timilty is here. Senator Keenan is at the event the mayor is at. He sends his regrets. Doreen, his constituent director, is here. We are tremendously grateful for their support. And I do want to mention Representative Taki Chan. He sends his regrets. He is at a conference for Asian legislative leaders. He could not be here, but Representative Chan sponsored an allocation of resources in both the pandemic relief budget and the FY23 budget that the speaker supported and the entire delegation did, and that was also a critical resource for this project. I have always said we are blessed to work with this delegation and to have them representing this community. And this will be a living example of that forever. It's not just about the public resources, though, this building. It's also about the private sector resources that have come into this project, of which there were many. You see our sponsor board here, and it was individuals, corporations, and many small businesses who gave to us. I want to mention a few who are with us. I'm going to start with Brian Connolly. He's going to be upset that I'm starting with him, and his brothers might beat him up since we're mentioning him. But Brian, many know, the mayor just referred to this, that he served as the ward councilor for this neighborhood many, many years ago. After that, he went on to practice law, is now the managing partner in the DLA Piper's Boston office. About 15 years ago, I saw Brian at an event and told him about the Head Start building that we were buying in Quincy Point, trying to buy. And he said, well, maybe I can help you on that. And he did. He and associates in his firm, DLA Piper, gave pro bono legal services to that transaction. That was a school that we bought from the Archdiocese. I think it took us about 5 years to get through that transaction. and that was many, many hours of donated time of Brian and his firm. So when we were about to buy this building, I called him up and said, hey, are you looking for something to do? Because we've got another project for you to do for nothing. And he didn't hesitate for a minute. And of course, that's what we love about Brian and the entire family. And we would always say the apple does not fall far from the tree. So thank you, Brian, for all of your help on this project. We really appreciate it. We have a couple board members here who are represent their companies who have been tremendous donors. I want to start by introducing Michelle Higgins from the Bank of Canton. The Bank of Canton has been a sponsor of our events for years and helped sponsor this building. We are grateful for all of their support. And I'd like to introduce Pat Packard from Santander Bank for her support. Pat is relatively new to our board, but Santander has been a supporter of our work for many years and a supporter of this effort. So we are very grateful for that. Thank you, Pat. Grace McAuliffe is standing outside. I can see her, but she doesn't want to come in. So I want to introduce Grace from afar. Grace is the Director of Administration and Finance at the Quincy Housing Authority, but in a former life, Grace was the chair of the Quincy Medical Center Foundation. And years ago, when the hospital closed and the foundation dissolved its assets, QCAP was one of many recipients of resources from that foundation. Those have been put into this building, so we are very grateful for that. We have other folks who have donated. Some of you are probably here. My apologies if I haven't mentioned you, but we're grateful for all of the contributions. You're on our board, and we appreciate all of that. We could not have done it without this collective approach. Tim and the mayor both talked about community, and that's what we have here. We have great gratitude to the folks who helped fund this, but nothing would have happened if we didn't have a great team to help us renovate this building. Jim Edwards from Holmes and Edwards was our architect. I hope not finding Jim in the crowd, but he's here. There he is. Thank you, Jim. And Commonwealth Building, Chris Fontaine, the CEO, is here along with his team, Tim O'Brien and Glenn Gould. They did a fantastic job. Both teams did a great job transforming this building. For those of you who know what this building looked like before, you know how different it looks now and how it is hopefully brightening up the neighborhood and adding a sense of pride to not only our clients, but to the residents who live in this neighborhood. So thank you to those teams. It was a pleasure working with all of you. Thank you for your great work. And finally, a thank you to our staff who did such a great job preparing for today, but also I want to also highlight Melinda and her staff. Tim mentioned them. They are an incredible team. They have not missed a beat since the beginning of this pandemic. It is the one service that we provided at QCAP that never, ever stopped. Those staff had to come to work every single day with masks on. I don't even know all the things. I think we're blocking it out, all the things we had to do. We served people by handing them bags outside. It was incredibly hard work. Melinda and her team have kept up an amazing attitude through all of that and still do. The commitment and the dedication and the enthusiasm that they have inspires me every day. It keeps a lot of us in the agency motivated and going. And congratulations to Melinda in her palatial office, as she says. I think we're going to camp out in there because she doesn't know what to do with that much space. I want to introduce Anna DiBiase, who is our development director. Anna came to us during COVID, so some of you don't know her, but Anna and Aaron Collenbear, our executive assistant, have done a fantastic job getting everything ready for today. So Aaron's in the back. And I'm pointing them out because this is the first time we've seen a lot of folks, so it's great to have you meet them. And our facility team, led by Sue Keenan and Izzy Hernandez and James and Rich, who did all the hard work to clean up everything before today. Thank you all. And I mentioned earlier Kristen Schlapp, our Chief Operating Officer, who I do credit part of this transaction to her for bringing it to our attention. When she called and said it's for rent, I called Ann Kennedy, who is here with us today. I'm looking for Ann. Ann, there you are. Ann, who was the previous owner, her and her husband Bill. And we said we want to buy it, we don't want to rent it. And here we are, thanks to Ann and Bill and their goodwill and the ease of working with them through this transaction. It made what can sometimes be a very difficult process. Ann and Bill made it very easy for us, so we thank you and appreciate that. And them connecting us to their daughter Tina, who works at DoorDash and now is providing a donation from DoorDash to the food center, and we're very excited about that work. So we have many other community partners here. I can't mention all of them, but I want to just say that the pandemic brought out something very different in many people, but what it brought out among all the social service agencies in Quincy is that we work together, and by working together and collaborating, we can make more things happen on behalf of the clients that we all serve. So I want to thank all of them who are here with us today, because I think together we do strengthen the community. So thank you. With that, I'd like to ask Speaker Ron Mariano to make a few remarks and again express our gratitude on behalf of our clients and the people that we serve and the Board of Directors. Thank you.
Thank you. I am absolutely thrilled to be here for a couple of reasons. When I saw this building was going to be named after Paul, I was hoping we'd all get a free cap by attending the dedication, but no such luck. No such luck. We're going to put that in the budget next time you come in, Tim. We'll slip a little something in there. You know, I really appreciate Beth's description of our meetings. I didn't know that I was striking the fear of God in her by asking some, I thought, legitimate questions. Like, how are you going to pay for this? But it is a testament to the hard work of the board and Tim and Beth that we're standing here today. And let me just say that I'm here for everything QCAP does. And that gets lost in the shuffle oftentimes because we're here celebrating the food pantry. And the one thing that I totally agree with Beth Ann is that the pandemic really highlighted the significant food insecurity we have in the Commonwealth. And what you saw with the expenditure of ARPA money this year was a huge investment in food security. And we will continue that investment over the next 2 or 3 years, especially now as we watch the inflation rate continue to rise and people still struggling maintaining a standard of living that they were used to. So it's a real challenge, the work that you're doing. This will help. This makes coming to work a little easier, makes your involvement with the clients a little bit more face-to-face, a little bit easier for everybody. So I'm very, very happy to be here for that. And to really say thank you for everything that QCAP does in the city of Quincy. I mean, I run a little cable TV thing on taxes that, and the only number we give out is the QCAP tax preparation number. Because if anyone calls me and asks me to do their taxes, you're all going to jail. But it's every little thing. When you turn around to someone in need, there's someone there to answer. And that is a significant reason why people stay in Quincy. It really is a testament, and we heard that Tim mention the community and Tommy mentioned the community, but it really is a community. It's a community of neighborhoods. You know, I see some Ward 4 representatives down there that are still here and aren't going anywhere. So it is truly a testament, and I want to congratulate Paul and the family to have this. This is a nice honor for someone who really does deserve it. So with that, I just came by, as I said, for a free hat. And since I'm not going to get a free hat, I'm going to be leaving you now. And I don't know who I turn it over to.
You're a dear friend of our speaker, and we appreciate it. Next, I'm going to invite up Josephine, our Vice President, to say a little bit about Paul.
Hi, everyone. What a great day for QCAP. So exciting. Lita Mariano, that was, your sense of humor is great. But more importantly, you've partnered with QCAP for so long, and we're so appreciative of you and Mayor Koch and your generosity. You know, when Beth Ann's going to meet you, she does stress. And she'll call me and she'll say, can you come, because I think it's important we have someone from Quincy Point there. It helps. Always thinking. Well, anyway, thank you again, Lita Mariano. The mayor had to leave, but without the generosity of these two men as leaders in our city, we're here today because of the two of them. So thank you both. As the vice president of this board, it's also my pleasure today to represent the majority of our board members here this morning. We have a great group of people that join with Beth Ann every month to go over all of our programs. It's a lot of detail. Our Reverend Bennett is our amazing treasurer, and I can't tell you the countless hours he spends along with all our other board members making sure that this organization runs the way it should. But Paul, I want you to know that this board unanimously decided that this building would be named in your honor. And we are all grateful to serve with you, and it's our honor to be on the board of directors of QCAP because of you, so thank you. My comments are going to be brief because my feet are getting cold. I don't know about anybody else's. But anyway, it's my pleasure to just say a few things about the Conleys. I see that Paul's friends are here, and you know that's what Paul's all about, friendship. He's been a great friend to myself, my husband. We're really fortunate to call them personal friends. But something that's really important to me is I'm at QCAP because of Paul Conley. He asked Beth Ann many, many years ago to ask me to be on the board. I don't know why he decided that, but he did, and you know, the relationship started many years ago, and I'm so thankful to Paul for giving me the opportunity to serve with him on the board. It's been my honor, Paul. You know, I've watched the Conley boys grow up, and it's really great to see them. Two of them worked for me many, many years ago. David didn't, but Brian and Kevin did. So I hope I was a good mentor to you guys back then. But anyway, we go way back. I'm thrilled to see that Paul's friends are here. I know he loves them dearly, his friends, and he treats us all like we're family, and we're so fortunate for that. My husband and I, Joe Shea, have had the honor to call Paul and Pat our personal friends, so it's my honor to be here today. It's an honor to serve with you. Congratulations to both you and Pat for all that you do. There's always a good woman behind a good guy, and Pat's there, all along. Pat would be on all our Zoom meetings during COVID. We got to see Pat a lot during COVID. So congratulations to the Conley family. I'm thrilled to see you all here today. I know some of your grandchildren aren't here, but they have beautiful grandchildren, a beautiful family. Someday ask Paul how he would host like 40 people in his house at Thanksgiving. I would love hearing those stories. I understand this year it was down to 12, so a little bit more manageable, Pat, I guess, right? So congratulations to the Conley family, and I'm going to turn it over to Beth Ann now.
We want to present this plaque. This plaque will hang in the community center permanently, and the text of it is in your program. I just want to read a little bit to give folks a sense of Paul's work here at QCAP. For 20 years, Paul represented the Southwest Quincy neighborhood, first on behalf of his son, former Ward 4 Councilor Brian Connolly, then on behalf of the low-income residents of Southwest Quincy, who elected him as their representative to the QCAP Board of Directors. And for over 18 years, Paul has represented the low-income neighborhood in this community. He's dedicated his life to public service, beginning with his time serving in the U.S. Army's 4th Infantry Division in the Vietnam War, for which he was honored with the Bronze Star for bravery and valor in combat. This service was followed by work at the MBTA, where he was elected president of the Boston Carmen's Union, then as labor mediator with the Massachusetts Board of Arbitration and Conciliation, working with public sector employees and local cities and towns to resolve disputes, negotiate contracts, and avoid or resolve strikes and work stoppages. That leadership and commitment to serving the community led to the appointment on the board of directors, 4 terms as president on our board, appointment to the City of Quincy's Planning Board, the City of Quincy's Affordable Housing Trust Committee, representing QCAP on that trust, chair of the Ward 4 Democratic Committee, and trustee of the Quincy Lodge of Elks. In all of these volunteer leadership roles, Paul has been a respected voice for Quincy's underserved residents. Paul successfully led us through the purchase of our Head Start Center, further anchoring our work in that neighborhood and in the community. And now we are proud to dedicate this building in Paul's name for his unwavering support of QCAP's Food Center, our mission, and his steadfast belief that every person deserves to have their basic needs met with dignity. We are proud to honor Paul today, dedicating this building to him.
Love you.
I don't know the last time I've been in front of a crowd, so a little bit nervous, so. No, I'm not. What do you think? Look at my family. Start with them. Pat and I've been married for 54 years. I have 3 sons, 8 grandchildren, and 2 of them are here, the twins, Joseph and Kara. My wife, Pat, please. I'll quickly introduce my family. My son, Kevin, and his wife, Erin. My son, David, his wife, Sandy. My son, Brian, and his wife, Carol. My sister, Mary, here, and my niece, My niece Ellen, my nephew Billy Ward, my nephew Paul Conley, Paul Michael Conley, same as me, and my friends lifelong, the Lacey's, the Fitzgeralds, they're here as well. Since we were kids. Okay, I have to read that. So Josephine, thank you. Thank you very much. I wanted to say thank you to the whole QCAP board and to Beth Ann and to the entire QCAP family and team that does amazing work in this community and work every day to help working families here in Quincy. I also want to thank Mayor Koch and Speaker Mariano of all the years we've known each other. And all the elected representatives and their tremendous support for QCAP. We're very lucky to have such a Quincy delegation of strong leaders who are always there for us. And it's amazing that we have this opportunity to have bought this place and to be able to ever do this that we never thought we could in all the years we were looking. I know I'm repeating a lot what other people said, but it's hard to believe that I've been volunteering here for 20 years. QCAP has so many talented members and volunteers and are doing a tremendous job. Feeding, housing, and educating children, providing opportunities and an extra hand when needed. And no one is more talented or harder working than Beth Ann Stroller. Beth Ann, this beautiful new community center is only possible because of your vision and determination. We've been chasing the dream for a permanent home, and I'm so proud to see we're opening it now. Beth Ann, it has been a privilege working with you. And we have accomplished great things and had a lot of fun along the way doing it. So thank you. You to QCAP very much this honor. Thank you to QCAP very much for this honor. And I've always believed the importance of public service and giving back to the community, especially this great city of Quincy. I'm grateful, QCAP, for giving this special dedication to me, and I am looking forward to many more years of service and volunteering here. And I want to thank you all. You are the best of the best. Thank you.
So we are going to wrap up our program now, and Paul, I just wanted to personally congratulate you again on this award. As Beth Ann mentioned, we're all so excited to give this award to you. You're somebody I've been on the board with for years, and I got to know you and respect you. You're a big-hearted man with your priorities straight, and I always thought you were kind of quiet until I went out and had a couple of drinks with you. But you're always a good listener, and the smartest people I know are good listeners. And when you spoke, I always listened intently because it was always worth hearing what you had to say. So congratulations. Your family's very fortunate to have you as a dad, and it's great to see everybody here supporting you. So we are going to, there's refreshments in the building, and we're going to take a picture with the board and the speaker. Are we going to do another ribbon cutting?
We're going to take a quick picture.
Okay, we'll just take a picture, and then we'll get you out of here, speaker. So thank you, everybody, for attending.